Crypto products are unregulated and could be highly volatile. Please be aware of the risks before investing.
राज, बाबूजी के आशीर्वाद से हमने अपनी नई शुरुआत तो कर ली, पर अपना फ्यूचर प्लान कैसे करें?
बड़े बड़े शहरों में ऐसी छोटी छोटी बातें होती रहती हैं।
Looking for perfect start? Get a Bitcoin today. Download the UNOcoin app.
जब मैं तेरी उम्र का था ना, तो एक सक्सेसफुल करियर, लॉन्ग टर्म प्लानिंग सब रेडी करके रख चुका था। और एक इन महाराज को देखो, पूरा दिन फोन में लगा रहेगा।
दैट प्लानिंग तो मैंने भी कर रखी है, UNOcoin के साथ।
नए जमाने के साथ नई चीजें आजमाएं। Looking for Bitcoin? Download the UNOcoin app.
Guys, we really need to work hard. This wasn't a good quarter. Tell me, are you happy with this?
UNOcoin.
Want to earn Bitcoin? Just grab your phone and shake it. Download the UNOcoin app.
Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin,
Bitcoin.
Get a systematic buying plan from the UNOcoin app to get your Bitcoin today. Download the UNOcoin app.
हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक डियर UNOcoiner। एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है हमारे वीकली लाइव सेशन में, जहां पर हम हर हफ्ते बात करते हैं एक इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक के बारे में। आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं ऐसी काफी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक के बारे में जिसके बारे में हमने कभी पहले चर्चा नहीं की है। लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट इन बिटकॉइन फॉर HNIs एंड फैमिली ऑफिसेस। तो सबसे पहले हम समझेंगे कि HNIs और फैमिली ऑफिसेस क्या हैं और ये कैसे बिटकॉइन को यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं इन देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रैटेजी। बट उसके पहले लेट मी इंट्रोड्यूस यू टू आवर टुडेज स्पीकर, मिस्टर सात्विक विश्वनाथ, द CEO and the co-founder of UNOcoin. Backstage team, if Sathvik is joined, can you please add him over here so that we can kickstart the conversation? Otherwise, we'll get started on a little stuff before that. तो आज का जैसा हमारा टॉपिक है लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट स्ट्रैटेजी इन बिटकॉइन। बट अक्सर हम देखते हैं कि बिटकॉइन में जब इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात आती है तो लोग उसे एक शॉर्ट टर्म या वॉलेटिलिटी का फायदा उठाने वाले एसेट की तरह देखते हैं। So, whosoever is watching today, सबसे पहले तो hi, and let us know if you're here in the comment section with a quick hi, and let me know what is your opinion on what is the tenure of investment that should be there in Bitcoin, not other cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin per se, and of course other cryptocurrencies में भी आपका क्या investment motive है वो भी बताइए, क्योंकि ये समझना बड़ा ज़रूरी हो जाता है। जब क्रिप्टो करेंसी की हम बात करते हैं तो वॉलेटिलिटी काफ़ी हाई होती है। बिटकॉइन की कंपैरेटिवली कम हो चुकी है, ब्लू चिप्स की कंपैरेटिवली काफ़ी कम हो चुकी है, बट अभी भी जो टर्म है क्रिप्टो करेंसी, दैट इज वी थिंक ऑफ इट एज समथिंग रियली रियली वॉलेटाइल, सो इट्स अ गेट रिच क्विक स्कीम फॉर मोस्ट पीपल हु डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द कंसेप्ट ऑफ इट. But if you look at it, the core values of Bitcoin, the core concepts of Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin, what was the purpose of creating Bitcoin, then you will realize that it has got a really good long-term proposition, and not just long-term proposition. One theory that I really like to use with Bitcoin, when people ask me about what is the use case, this and that, so how I explain this to people is, imagine the era where people used to use seashells for exchanging. There was barter system, then we came down to certain objects. Somewhere it was metal, somewhere it was something else, somewhere it were seashells. So उस era में imagine करिए अगर किसी को बहुत ज़्यादा सोना मिल गया होगा तो अब अगर किसी ने उसकी चमक देख करके उसकी वैल्यू समझ ली होगी और उसे बचा करके अपने घर में रख दिया होगा, years later when gold coins and gold became a medium of transaction, imagine their net worth. So similar is the case with Bitcoin. This is the gold that we are finding in the world of fiat right now. क्योंकि बहुत सिंपल है, आज ही मैं एक काफ़ी अच्छा सा क्रिएटिव देख रही थी, विच इज़ अबाउट द प्राइस ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी इन फिएट वर्सेस बिटकॉइन. So it's getting expensive in fiat and cheaper in Bitcoin. And I don't know if I'll have it in my phone right now. काफ़ी अच्छे से उसमें एक्सप्लेन किया गया था कि अगर 10 साल पहले से एक ज़मीन का टुकड़ा 10 लाख रुपए का था, आज उसी चीज़ की कीमत 50 लाख रुपए होगी इन फियाट करेंसी. बट अगर 10 साल पहले उसकी कीमत से 50 बिटकॉइन थी तो आज उसकी कीमत 25 बिटकॉइन या कम. लाइक दिस इज अ हाइपोथेटिकल एग्जांपल. एक्चुअल मैथ वुड बी डिफरेंट, बट या दिस इज द जिस्ट एंड द कोर ऑफ इट. एंड जब तक हमको सात्विक ज्वाइन नहीं करते, आप लोग इंगेज नहीं कर रहे हो हमारे साथ, आपके लिए ये सेशंस होते हैं. अगर आप ही हमसे बातें नहीं करोगे तो फिर मज़ा नहीं आता है. तो फटाफट से कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइए, हाउ इज द डे गोइंग, हाउ इज द होली फेस्टिविटीज, एंड how are you anticipating the halving shock and everything coming up, कैसी एक्साइटमेंट लेवल है आपकी एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स. आपके मन में क्या चल रहा है हाविंग को लेकर के, क्योंकि हाविंग भी काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग इवेंट है और ये काफ़ी लोगों का इंटरेस्ट पीक करता है हमारे इंडस्ट्री में. बट एक प्री हाविंग इवेंट ऑलरेडी हमने देख लिया है विथ ETFs. उसके बाद हमें प्राइस एक्शन काफ़ी अच्छा देखा, डंप हुआ, फिर ऊपर गया, ऑल टाइम हाई ब्रीच किया, फिर थोड़ा सा नीचे गया, अभी फिर मेरे ख्याल से 70, 69, 70 के आसपास बिटकॉइन चल रहा है. एंड देयर आर पीपल ऑन ट्विटर राइट नाउ हु आर पुटिंग अप पोस्ट सेइंग if Bitcoin reaches say $80,000 before halving, I'll do 25 push-ups every day. This is the level of craziness. This is the level of excitement right now in the market with Bitcoin enthusiasts. In fact, there's a very interesting halving party happening, in various places. जो जिधर भी है, people in the US are the Indian Desi people over there are also organizing a little, halving party. In India, people are having party according to different regions. So I mean, the excitement is crazy because this is a once in a 4-year event, and it's a much anticipated event. मतलब अगर हम स्ट्रक्चर की बात करें बिटकॉइन की, तो आई कैन गो ऑन एंड ऑन एंड ऑन टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस, क्योंकि कितनी खूबसूरती से एक इनबिल्ट मार्केटिंग सिस्टम इसमें डाल रखा है सतोशी जी ने. हर 4 साल पे जब थोड़ी सी मार्केट स्लो हो जाती है या चर्चा का विषय बदल जाता है, लोगों का ध्यान ऑल्ट कॉइन्स पे चला जाता है, डॉज, शीबा इनू, इधर उधर मीम कॉइन्स पे चला जाता है, उसके बाद आ जाती है हाविंग. And that actually makes a lot of people talk about it. So we have Sathvik here. Sathvik has joined us. Hi Sathvik, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Shambhavi?
Oh, I'm great. Just right now, I was talking full on about Bitcoin, this, that, inbuilt marketing system, having coming up, having parties coming up. So, how excited are you before we get started with our session for today?
Yeah, there is no dull time.
True.
I mean, once you get into the crypto, you get excited and you stay excited.
You get excited, true. I mean, at every stage, and I'm particularly so excited about this having because I have had a chance to connect with the community. Now they have invited me over for certain celebration around having. I'm just so happy because I'm gonna get to meet so many like-minded people over there. So to hop on to our session for today, Sathvik, long-term investment in Bitcoin for HNIs and family offices. So when we
Mhm.
talk about HNIs and family offices, family offices per se, what role do they play in any individual's financial planning?
No, see, family offices are very different from normal retail investors.
Yes.
Usually, it will be much more larger fund. Generally, when I say family offices, we are talking about someone which have at least a corpus of 100 crore rupees or something more than that. Okay, so where they have put the wealth together and calling it as a family office. Okay, so investing for a family office, the strategies that they use is very different from someone like retail, whoever is doing the investment. One of the major agendas for family office is always not to make money, but at least make enough money to fight the inflation and enough money to support the family. So they usually aim for about 15% of growth on every single year, and anything that comes more than that would be like a bonus. But now, for that achieving 15%, they usually have wealth managers, right? So who will be helping the diversification of that particular wealth into different equity, commodity, mutual funds, bonds, fixed deposits, real estate, etc. So now that they have actually become comfortable with whatever they are trying to do, not everyone will instantly actively consider crypto as an investment,
Yes.
but they usually over a period of time they will is the belief of the crypto community. So right now, if you see in countries like US where the ETFs have are already present, these kinds of family offices, given that one of the friction point is removed, which is your regulatory reporting and filing. Okay, so now that that is not a challenge because it just works like equity, some family offices have considered doing the investments through Bitcoin ETFs, and that is why we actually don't see lot of say retail investors like me and you getting into the Bitcoin ETF because we have the time and we have the risk appetite to
Yeah.
do the research and try to buy the Bitcoin directly instead of buying it.
Through ETF, yes. Is that my internet or is that Sathvik's? I'm not sure what has happened. Okay, I'm good. The backend team just told me. I guess there's a little bit of a glitch with Sathvik's connection. Okay, Sathvik is back.
Yeah, so about that. So yeah, I think that is a difference between individuals investing into crypto and the family offices investing into crypto. Even though both of them hit a buy button, there is lot that happens before that happens.
True. Now, Satvik, with institutions like BlackRock, Valkyrie, all of this moving into the Bitcoin space and exposing their consumers' portfolio to Bitcoin, maybe 1%, maybe whatever percentage they choose to expose it towards. Interestingly, this is a big win for the industry because it's some sort of now mainstream recognition that has come to the industry. And when it comes to these family offices and this kind of things kind of set an example for family offices to consider this. Now one thing that is a major question over here: what kind of strategy should they be choosing when they are talking about investing in Bitcoin or having Bitcoin as a part of it?
Again, it eventually comes down to risk averseness. Okay. So usually these wealth managers do have some time to do the research, or if it is very big family offices, they also seek the prospective, like the well analyzed reports from companies like Bloomberg. Okay, so where they will do the required analysis and come up saying that, okay, if this is your risk profile that you want to invest into crypto, then these are the four coins and this is the percentage of each that you will have to do. So it's very unlikely that we, the retail investors or individuals, get hold of those kinds of reports unless you actually want to pay maybe $100,000 or something. And why the family offices would still be fine to pay maybe even $100,000 for a report is because the amount of investment they do, if they compare it to that, the money they spent for doing the analysis through a companies like Bloomberg will be like 0.1% or maybe 1%, which usually makes sense for them. Okay, so once they get that done, they usually look at the complications of regulatory filing depending upon where that family office is registered judicially, right? So once that law of the land and regulations and all of that is studied, that usually they will then the wealth managers will have the burden of convincing the head of the family or whoever is looking at that thing as an overview to say why they think instead of going for normal traditional investments, why they should also consider doing the crypto as an investment. Okay, so this is what the procedure looks like to me. So it's actually not simple, but once they get in, I believe they will stick for long term. And also when they actually use these kinds of wealth management services than individuals usually, let's say, they can, once they bought Bitcoin, they can just withdraw it to their hardware wallets and such, and safeguard it. But when it comes to family offices, it is the authorization and signatures, and whenever they need to do a transaction, it will usually be not very simple. So they will usually have a comparatively longer protocol of how of whatever they need to follow and how they also have to hold funds. When it comes to the real estate or fixed deposits or mutual funds, there is a very well established methods of holding those things already, but definitely not with crypto yet. So now they will eventually have to depend upon maybe a third party cold storage, or they will depend upon some kind of solution which is giving them multi signatures, right? If there are multiple people doing the who should be present to execute a transaction and such. So it depends upon individual family offices, but this is also something they will have to consider. So I would actually see more frictions to family office to get into a investment into crypto. But we are talking about huge amount of money where it probably could be, say, a 10,000 people, whatever they want to invest. A single family office have that kind of potential to do that kind of investment. So yes, the more and more of them coming in, we actually significantly see interest raising, and we will also see some like the price action that we are seeing nowadays, comparatively bull market, and prices going up to give better returns. Yeah.
True. Speaking of institutional adoption, Satvik, that we were just talking about. Interestingly, so even with the BlackRock ETFs and everything, we know that Coinbase is holding their assets, and there are different sort of programs. One such at UNOcoin we have, it's called Crypto Wealth Club. And now, how is this program designed to help HNIs and family offices to kind of streamline their investment strategies into crypto? Because it's still complex for a no coiner person to understand.
Yeah, sure. See, I was just saying, when it comes to the family offices, the wealth we are talking about at least is about 100 crores. Okay. So now it comes down to how much do they want to diversify for crypto. Okay, so if they are risk averse, they may start with 0.5%, or maybe they'll go up to even couple of 3 or 5% also. But will they do the 5% on day one? Definitely, right? So they usually start with as much least as possible because they are trying to dip their feet into this for the first attempt. Okay. So now it comes down to what are the services available for such kind of family offices who want to diversify their total amount of wealth into crypto. So they usually say if there is an option available for 10 lakh rupees or 25 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees, they'll try to do that. I think our crypto wealth club, as a product that we have on UNOcoin, is focused to cater this particular sector, where if one wants to have their about 50 lakh rupees or more worth of crypto portfolio, then we have exclusive assistance provided to them, and there is also a charge of 1% of the total whatever is the portfolio per year. Okay, and then we also provide them exclusive access to some of the reports depending upon their risk averseness. It is all usually individually created reports, because a wealth like how different individuals diversify their crypto portfolio into different kinds of coins. It could be, let's say, just Bitcoin, or it could be Bitcoin Ether, or Bitcoin Ether Solana meme coin. So it's all very very different, right? So similarly, the risk appetite and the preferences of these kinds of family offices when it comes to crypto will also be very different, which means the analysis that they need to consume cannot be exactly the same. So yeah, we will stay in touch with them and help them to do the purchase of crypto assets, and help them with the required analysis so that they can take as much intelligent decisions as possible.
True, and interestingly, so Sathvik, because UNOcoin has been in business for 10 years now, this is the 11th year going on, and what we are known for particularly is the expertise in this space alone. And this is a really interesting thing where these kind of products are created to help individuals manage their portfolio and stuff with expert and exclusive guidance. So when it comes to this, what are say certain factors that a person HNI should be considering, when entering one such example?
I think the HNIs, just that the regulatory wise it may be little simpler, and authorization wise little simpler, because they usually are individuals, right? So I mean, high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals. So when we're talking about ultra high net worth individuals, I think someone who have about $25 million and above, I would consider them that way. That's usually the norm. So we're talking about easily about 200 to 50 crores of wealth to be called ultra high HNI, and normal HNIs could be say about a few tens of crores, I guess. So that's what it looks like. So generally they move faster as compared to family offices. It is usually one person decision, or at most his wealth manager's decision. So when it comes to management of wealth, the SEBI also have the guidelines that the minimum client that that they can accept is 50 lakh rupees of wealth for wealth management and such. So now when those kinds of wealth managers also are recommending the crypto, or maybe suggesting crypto, so for diversification and such, if they are doing it, then the percentage that they probably want to invest will be in terms of few lakh rupees only. Okay, which to us is a very normal retail investor, because the even though he is rich, the amount of exposure he is looking at crypto is less in terms of percentage. That is what it actually looks like to me. Or else, yeah, regulatory filing and all those things will usually be simpler. Authorization chart, the protocol will usually be simpler as well, right? So it will not be too many people who are trying to take the decision. But or else, it's usually, yeah, like I said, HNIs move faster than family offices to make it work.
True. We have Madhusudan here in the comment section saying hi. Hi Madhusudan, अगर आपके कोई सवाल हैं तो हमें बताइए. We'll be very happy to answer all your questions here. Now, Satvik, moving to another question, we see with crypto space. Now we are talking about diversifying into crypto space. Your total portfolio, but there's also a lot of diversification that we do usually in a crypto portfolio that we have, right? And with diversification, what are the challenges that an individual might be facing, which our program will be solving?
No, then what our program is solving, if we just uh, see the issues itself that they are trying to face, one is about doing the research. Okay, so even though we say do your own research, I have not seen more than maybe 10-15% of people who actually do the thorough research before doing the investment. For a lot of them, it is like, okay, my friend is telling it, I'll want to do the investment, or I just got a newsletter, it talks about this particular coin or token, I want to do investment kind of thing. And they all try to become like, become rich faster kind of thing, right? So, and on the other side, these kinds of companies which are selling whatever coins and tokens, they usually show the glory of Bitcoin or Ether and try to say that they are trying to mimic it. Let's say if the Bitcoin has gone up by 1000% in the last 10 years, we at least go by 10x, right? I mean, like if it is 1000 times in last 10 years, and at least there is a chances of 10x for this kind of new. So there's like all new, different marketing techniques that people usually, give up for, irrespective of how much we try to tell that you should do your own research, don't believe anyone, etc. Okay. Now, does all of the project fail? That's also not true. There are some projects which actually will be successful, even though there are projects where initially they did not have the vision, but after raising the money, they actually were able to form the vision and execute it. But there are other projects who actually have a good vision, but depending upon how much money they raised, sometimes little less than what they at least need to, or sometimes way more than what they need to. Those projects also significantly fail because they try to become comfortable with the founders and the community, try to become comfortable with the money that they have raised and not work for the particular project itself. So after seeing all of these kinds of things, so it's tough for anyone to do enough research to get into every single token. So my suggestion for them is just go with maybe Bitcoin, Ether, and maybe tokens like Solana or a few other, maybe like within the top 10, and don't go for others if you cannot really do research. On our platform, we have a section called crypto baskets, right? So yeah, yeah. So where we actually provide about, I think, 12 to 14 which helps diversification of crypto allocation that one want to do into different kinds of tokens, and with whatever risk profile that those particular baskets will have at that point of time, right? So on the other side, if they just are bothered about Bitcoin and they're bothered about so that helps them average the cost of Bitcoin over a period.
Satvik, I'm losing you there. I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I was just saying that they can also use our SBP plan,
Yes.
systematic buying plan. So that will help them average the cost of Bitcoin as well. So that is also in one of the ways to average the risk over a period of time.
True, and interestingly, now that we are talking about our crypto wealth club, it was always there, but now it's highlighted. I feel like we have such a properly oriented set of features for both retail users and for both HNIs and family offices as well. Satvik, one more thing that would come to any no coiner's mind right now, as they must be watching this session, is regulatory challenges that they might face for exposing themselves to say crypto wealth club program. That could be taxation related, that could be their lack of understanding of how the regulatory landscape is. So how do we tackle over there with all of these concerns?
No, your question is not clear to me. What is it again?
So if some see if I'm getting into the crypto wealth club program,
Mhm.
how will I be taking care of my taxes? Because of course there's going to be portfolio readjustments happening and stuff like that. So will UNOcoin take care of it?
Yeah, eventually you will get a taxation summary, right? So that should actually summarize what are the different profits that you got and whatever is the taxes that you need to pay. And there are multiple portals in India, so where you can just download the Excel file that you get at UnoCoin and upload it there, and it should be able to show those transactions right away there. So that helps you to figure out how much exact taxes you're kind of required to pay. So calculating the taxes is not the biggest challenge here. Making sure that, I mean, like making up a mind that you want to get into this is actually bigger challenge than trying to figure out the taxation and regulation and actually doing those payments and making sure that the compliance is fully achieved.
So, Satvik, are there any restrictions on say what amount can they be investing? What is the maybe say upper limit or lower limit?
Definitely not in crypto baskets, but because there are multiple coins that someone would be purchasing, and everyone have their individual lower limits. So someone investing about 10,000 rupees or anything more than that, I think is they definitely can use crypto basket as one of the ways of diversifying it. But when it comes to systematic buying plan, again to avoid the risk, that plan starts at just 10 rupees
Yes.
a day or a month or a week. So yeah, it's made to be as much friendly as possible. Yeah.
Exactly, and as low as 10 rupees, just you don't even get a chocolate in 10 rupees these days. So that's you're getting some sats for that. It's a really interesting program when it comes to that. And talking about dollar cost averaging with our crypto wealth club, will are we also considering that for our HNIs, and say, is this something that family offices should consider when getting into Bitcoin as an investment?
Um, it should, I think, uh, because it just helps them to manage the crypto part of their wealth in a very similar way as how they are doing for the rest of their wealth. The SEBI registered and licensed wealth managers, from my understanding, cannot assist with crypto investments because it doesn't fall under the SEBI guidelines and such. So then it actually makes the gap in between, where like how do they go for a wealth manager who could help them with the crypto investments? The answer is you actually cannot, because it is not like SEBI regulated. It's quite different yet. So that is where we, as a team of, I mean, we have a team which is helping our customers to manage their wealth as well in crypto. Like I said, also giving the required analysis and assistance and face-to-face meetings, giving them the required comfort, telling them like if they need to custody it, how they have to do it, and talking about the present returns and what the market trends have been, etc. So based upon that, they will have to take that particular decision. So, but yeah, our crypto wealth club is quite well designed for these kinds of HNIs and family offices. Yes.
That's so beautiful. But something that I think they'll be facing challenges with, that we also face on a day-to-day basis is education. Yeah,
Mhm.
because our common audience or the common people, they're still not aware about the concept of say, if they have heard of Bitcoin, they don't know how does it work, how to get one, and how to get themselves involved. Now this is going to be again a little bit of a bridge between the gap, where let's say these family offices will be bridging that sort of a gap. But one thing that I want to understand here is, Satvik, how do they kind of work towards the education part of it?
It is tough. I don't think educating people or that particular family we're talking about is even their job. Okay, so they will usually come up with some kind of presentations to just say that this is how the future as the past has been, and this is where things look like today, and this is the expected future, etc. Right? So, and what is the risk associated? So, beyond that, it becomes unwanted information for those families or maybe family offices where the wealth manager is there for doing that anyway already, right? So that is how I would see, and it's important these wealth managers actually have understood what they're trying to do when it comes to crypto. And again, they cannot do directly, so which means they will have to utilize the services like ours, um, where we help them manage their large crypto portfolios already. And depending upon the, again, appetite of knowledge, not only appetite of risk, we are happy to share whatever information they'll be looking for, I guess. So, but however, it's definitely overwhelming if we just try to like give everything at once. It will be beyond too much.
Yes. So Satvik, when in general we talk about Bitcoin, and nowadays I'm talking to so many people who might be having little information, some information, banking personnels as well. Interestingly, one thing that I've seen with Bitcoin, not investing in Bitcoin opponents, is the environmental concerns that comes with Bitcoin mining. So, how does one explain them about this part, and what is the solution there?
See, I don't know why when it comes to Bitcoin, this environment question mark comes up. I sometimes feel if there is a new industry, new technology, new disruption, etc., the biggest visible problem will be the big problem, even if it is smallest of the nature. So if you are only concerned about, or if you are so deeply concerned about the environment itself, there are so many industries I can name where it is affecting environment already. So when it comes to Bitcoin, yes, it is power hungry, and it is power hungry for a purpose. So that is how the transactions will get secured over a period of time, and it will become immutable in nature. And for that, we all of us are going to pay some kind of money to make sure that those things are happening. Okay, so if you see for example, it could be banking, or it could be automobile industry, or it could be factories producing food, or some other could be oil. I mean, it's like a lot of air pollution and power hungry things exist. We just don't talk too much because they have much bigger problems itself, right? Um, Including the logistics, or then the drought that is creating the issue, food or the crops not available in time, or not enough rain. So with those kinds of huge and gigantic problems, we don't talk about smaller environmental impact that they are causing. So when it comes to crypto, yes, it has some environmental impact. I wish it was less power hungry, but if it was less power hungry, I can also tell that it means the transactions are less secure, also, right? So, in that way, and one of the reasons why Bitcoin price is whatever it is also because of the people that have to invest in power to generate these kinds of tokens. So, I have heard one of the explanations where they say that Bitcoin is literally the tokens that you generate by using electricity, right? So it's electricity tokens because it's getting converted and then it gets transacted. It's kind of a true thing because depending upon the place where you have put a lot of miners and whatever are the revenues obtained, there is usually a part of the selling price for Bitcoin depend upon that as well. And they actually want, like everyone want to have some kind of revenues and profits. So I don't think we as a normal people should really be stressed about the power consumption or environmental impact. If it is a huge issue, I think the nature itself have its way of correcting it, right? So right now there is a significant portion of the electricity that is used is from renewable
Renewable.
sources of energy anyway. Overall it will only become that, or it will start moving towards that. So it is not something I would worry today.
True. I mean, people, these days are talking about so many green stuff, green tech, green this, green that. At the end of the day, the chemical industries, the household stuff that we are using on a daily basis to produce that, there's so much of pollution that's happening. So, I mean, this should be the least of, anybody's concern at the moment. So, Satvik, when it comes to our Bitcoin, right, there are so many other projects with layer 2 solutions speeding up transaction, again, circling back to what we were discussing. Now that we have introduced lightning, people see it as a improved proposition for Bitcoin investment, because lightning has sort of reduced the fee structure, that's faster transactions and stuff like that. And then there also have been folks around with Bitcoin, to solve the same problem of transaction speed and stuff. So, what if you're talking in general for, let's say, from an HNI perspective, what should I look at if I'm willing to invest in something that has improvised features or something that has been withstanding for the longest time?
Again, there is no straightforward answer for this. So it depends upon the investment strategy of those wealth managers, or what that family offices or HNI or whoever is preferring. But generally, it could be individuals or it could be corporates, it could be HNIs, it could be family offices. It's better to, because you're moving from less volatile kind of asset classes to more volatile asset classes like crypto. It should be taken slow, or else there are days when the price of Bitcoin actually falls by 10% nowadays. We have seen it. I mean, we have seen it even at 40-50%, maybe like 5 years ago, 8 years ago. But now we have seen a few days where it has gone up by 6%, 8% as well, and come up. So that is something that a very traditional investors or the wealth managers cannot take. It's like extremely too much. So the only way they can still take it and say it's okay because it's like diversification, part of diversification, etc., is if they have invested extremely less amount of money in crypto. So whenever they're dipping their feet, it should be like really small, maybe 0.5% or 1% of the total wealth. So the impact would comparatively be not so considerable and achievable, or maybe like convincible. But then over a period of time, depending upon how they become comfortable, they will usually have to take up like different sets of coins and tokens from crypto as well, and maybe increase their total exposure of their asset holdings to crypto, maybe to 3% or 5% also. So it is something that should happen slowly, cannot happen in a hurry. Else, if things go wrong, they'll usually end up quitting the crypto industry, and they don't want to even like turn back at this. Yeah. So, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the right research, is what I personally believe in, because there's so many people who are here after so many years, including you, Harish, and Abhinand, Sunny. You guys have been in this space ever since Bitcoin first came into the picture, and it's all about the research, is what I believe, and about understanding. So, also, Satvik, I was, just before you joined the call, just keep the conversation going. I was talking about this one image, or let's say a post that I saw today over Twitter. So it was about real estate, say a house, and how it was getting more and more expensive in fiat and cheaper with Bitcoin. So it was really interesting for me because, of course, we all know about the fact, but we had never seen a practical example for it. Now, when it comes to investments of family offices, we know that there are different categories that, they would be allocating the funds to. So, what ideal percentage, let's say for an HNI, what is the ideal percentage of exposure that they should be considering when it comes to Bitcoin? Because we see that real estate's growth is also good, but yeah.
Investor growth is good. Equity growth are also good. It has at least given like, I think, 15 to 18% on yearly basis since about 10 years or so, and commodities and all of that. Right. So now when it comes to assets in crypto, generally they should start with something less, like I was saying, maybe 0.25, 0.5%, and they should not go beyond 5 is what I would consider. So in between, depending upon the risk averseness, they have to choose that particular number, and then in the total funds that is available for this, they again have to choose the required diversification into different kinds of tokens and coins. So it's, yeah.
Okay. So Satvik, looking from a long-term perspective, we know it's about the risk appetite and what kind of an entry and exit a person might be planning for that. But looking at a long-term perspective, say 10 years, what do you think a portfolio, or let's say institutional adoption, is going to look like for Bitcoin, because it has already begun?
Um, I think we will still end up following whatever is happening in US, maybe by few years. So now, which is about, I think, like 15th year for Bitcoin,
Yes.
maybe 15th or 16th year, 15th year. So now we are seeing the corporates getting in, like they were not there last year, and there are HNIs and family offices who are getting in who were not there last year. And that particular percentage of who all want to get in have significantly grown within the last like 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I see the, say, penetration of the internet, penetration of the payment gateways. So all such, we have actually seen it happen in India by a lag of 3 to 5 years. And given crypto is more like open source, and there are like younger people working on it, and it is not a permission system. It can work without permissions, but as long as it works within the rules, etc. I would say with about a lag of 2 years, I think we will start seeing a very, very similar pattern. And but when that bug bites the family offices in India, we will actually see another huge bull run. I think it's a lot of them, lot of them in India.
Indeed, indeed, and I personally believe that the investment mindset of our Indians is comparatively a little, actually a lot lesser than people residing in the US or more developed nations like that, because of course the education level differs from there to here and so many things. But with this kind of institutional adoptions, I see a lot of mainstream talk about it happening, where people might be getting traction in this asset class particularly, will be getting a lot more retail HNIs and family offices to come and explore it as an option. Now, Satvik, when we talk about building a portfolio, right? What are some of the emerging technologies? Because last year we saw about Bitcoin ordinals came into the picture. Few years back, Lightning technologies came into the place. So, what are some of these technologies that are worth considering when we talk about the growth of Bitcoin?
I would say when it comes to the family offices and HNIs, they should not be bothered about this. This is something that happens, much more behind the scenes, or it's about techies. It'll grow, it'll go to the next stage. Uh, so it's more like, let's say, if you're investing into Infosys equity, to what extent are you bothered about how a software that they're building work, or how what all happens behind the scenes? It's usually little too much to really be bothered about. So now you are trusting that they have the market, and they have the brand value, and they have the ability to make more money going in the future, and you discount that to what it is today, and that will be the equity price. So it is similarly, the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto is also about what it is today and what it is promising in the near future. So trying to go to that depth, what will work, what will not work, it would actually be a full-time job. So it cannot be like, okay, I'm an investor, then I would be like a developer or a business developer, or an analyst on top of this, to go to such depth and try to figure out the different aspects. But that level of analysis and expertise definitely not required, as long as the investment itself is concerned. So I mean, of course, you should know the overview of things, what is all is happening, but beyond that, it will be little too much to be bothered. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. So Satvik, another question that comes to my mind, from a no coiner perspective, is that do we have insurance options when we talk about such, let's say, a good amount of investment in Bitcoin, HNI level, family office level? Are there insurance options for that?
I have not seen them in India. So, however, there are some wallets who claim to provide some insurance in certain conditions, like BitGo and such, for whoever is using the cold storage solutions, etc. So, but however, the extent to which those insurance have provided the claims is always questionable, because it is so digital in nature. It is too tough to identify why something happened, if it happened. So we don't have that here in India. I think that is one of the probably missing part of the crypto industry in this country yet, and that as well can provide some kind of hedge or comfort for these kinds of family offices and HNIs whenever they come in. But from my understanding, because these insurance companies are also completely regulated by that IRDA thing. So it's not very straightforward for them to offer this. Or maybe even if they did, they will be start looking at, see, how the insurance company works is again through how many issues can go wrong, how many things can go wrong, and what is the premium that they are able to obtain, and what is the disbursements they have to do, and what will be the revenue and profit calculation. It's like any other industry. So, but when it comes to crypto, we don't have that much of data yet, right? And we also depend upon other countries for that kind of data to actually figure out the proper balanced crypto related insurance products in India. Maybe in about few years, we may start looking at. I mean, eventually, even those kinds of plans may eventually be available also, but I don't see them available yet for Indians.
Yeah, I mean, that is there, and us Indians are always looking at some or the other way to save things up and have insurance. I actually had a little investment pyramid to discuss the scenario of HNI investment here. I don't know, for some reason I'm not able to access that file today, but anyways, when we talk about because in the UNOcoin app, we see we have also replicated so many features, like what do we call that, SIP, right, as SBP. Now that is also one of the great features. People do SIP on a regular basis. Similarly, we have SBP for them to utilize on a regular basis, like you also explained. Something, if you have to compare, Satvik, because a lot of people are also into the terms of trading gains as such, or let's say stock mid-term investment as such. So how do we compare stock and crypto over there? I mean, I know there's no comparison as such, but in terms of investment and exit part of it.
No, in terms of how to invest and how to exit, it's not too different. But why you're investing, how much you're investing, how long you're staying, what is your strategy, what is your expected growth, and for that, how much risk we are taking. So those, usually those numbers are different. Is how I would say. And as we all know, crypto is a high risk, high return investment, like asset diversification or asset class that we have within India. Even though we are calling it to be high risk, but over a period of time, if you see, it has actually given really, really good returns than any other asset classes that you can think of, including gold or equity or real estate or anything like that. So in that way, understanding crypto is tough, just because um, the factors that it will affect, the factors that it can get affected, a lot of them is something we cannot even think of, right? So what happens in US significantly affects sometimes the prices of Bitcoin. But when it comes to, say, equity markets, what happens in US does not affect so much, because equity is more relevant to the country, whatever it's happening here. And the reasons why it goes up, why it goes down, to some extent, it is calculatable. In the equity markets, there is some logic behind it, and it is tough to find the logic of why something is going up or something is going down when it comes to the crypto markets. And what we usually see as monthly variations in equity market, sometimes we see it to be a daily variation within the crypto markets itself, which means it is for the strong hearted. And one should actually make peace with such huge uncertainty and volatility, else people will start losing the sleep. um, for the one who are only investing within crypto, they understand it better. But for the one who have invested in equity so far and now they want to diversify a part of their money into crypto, it's actually scary. It's not very simple for them, right? So yeah, keeping all this in mind, I think one should do the diversification. But once they decide to do it, actually doing it is simpler. It's very similar to how they would do the equity investments. So,
True. And Sathik, when we talk about our crypto wealth club program, we're gonna give expert advice. We're gonna do stuff for them. But when it comes to risk investment strategies over there, so how does a person get a hang of how to manage risk over there, or how is the risk being managed over there?
Again, with limited amount of information that we can get when it is like the crypto wealth club or anything, and if it is done by individuals themselves, whatever they can find by various articles, and maybe to some extent you can see the Twitter feed sentiments on X.com, and then the new develop number of developers who are actively developing on that particular chain, and contributions to GitHub when wherever that particular project is hosted, and the way the community is growing, to what extent it has become a word of mouth, etc. as well. So there is like lot of those things have to be considered to eventually that will kind of decide the destiny of of a new crypto project, both in like short term and kind of long term. So keeping these in mind helps to some extent avoid pitfalls, is how I would say. But along with these, I would, if someone is investing in extremely new token that has not really made a lot of name, or it's only getting listed on very few exchanges, etc., is to also see the tokenomics, also see the founders. So what is their backgrounds, etc. So usually it will help them to take that decision of whether they really want to do it or not. If someone is just promoting their own token, saying that it will become double or 10 times, I would recommend definitely avoid it. It definitely does not work that way. Market is not there. I mean, market is not like that. It's
Yeah.
too many factors that depend that determine the price. Not like so simple, not so straightforward.
True, and talking about the same thing, Satvik, there's so many people who might be coming into the crypto realm right now, and this is one of the reasons why we are also trying to educate people on this fact today here. Because the price is peaking. The news channels are talking about it. We see advertisements now coming into the newspaper as such. One thing that is something the crypto market as such is known for is also scams. And like you mentioned, some individual could be creating a coin, and you have to look at it, you have to understand it before investing in it, right? So how does one saves themselves from, let's say, on an individual level, from such scams?
Tough to identify. So if it is too good to be true, just don't do. Is like a one thing I normally say. If someone is contacting you to invest money, definitely don't do. Right? If someone is contacting you saying that they will become your wealth manager, then maybe you will not have the wealth. Just like they're contacting you with some kind of good photograph of a girl or something like that, and luring you into doing some kind of crypto investments. And because crypto investments in global in nature, it's extremely tough to even identify an individual if they are not even in the country, or who is trying to scam you and such. And so one should be extremely careful, much more careful than how if one is using internet banking on their mobile phone, etc. So crypto can vanish, or you can get misled extremely fast. You may not even know. Before you know that what's happening, you could have lost it also. So don't keep crypto just on the phone if you have those wallets, or just on the exchanges also, where you have extremely easy access to it. It's better you withdraw it to paper wallets or hardware wallets, so that you will actually, by the time of doing whatever you're doing, there is a time for you to think what you're doing. So it is okay to discuss those kinds of investment strategies with your friend or whomever you think is well wisher. uh, if you're just getting like virtually blindfolded and going with the project, someone can just wake you up saying that, look, whatever you're doing may not be correct, like rethink and do, and that could be a really good warning call for you. So and don't randomly click on crypto related URLs where it will open your wallet and it shows the money, and you click here and send the button and come back to this page. I mean, you will not even know that it actually went through. So it actually is like very tricky in nature. So and the amount of, I would say, the number of scam websites that exist when it comes to crypto are maybe 10x or 20x more than genuine. ones. So if I just have to talk about UNOcoin, we at least know about 15, 20, 20 different websites which claim to be UNOcoin with varied spelling mistakes or whatever, and uh, try to lure customers into saying that okay, I actually help, I actually do customer care, I actually do wealth management. So like that, they will try to claim and try to mislead people, and that is true with a lot of other exchanges in India, and in fact that is true with all exchanges globally also.
Yes.
So there are groups where people just go and it's usually like the exchange related groups where they just say that okay, I am trying to withdraw crypto but it is not working, and instantly someone in the group will try to contact them saying that I am a customer care representative, I want to help you. It's usually like most of the times it is not. So use the brains whenever you are actually listening to someone and clicking the buttons or or entering OTPs and something. So what is gone is just like gone forever. It's crypto. It will not stay.
True, you have to secure your crypto more than I personally believe in guarding the crypto more than my life because yeah, that's like my very good side of investment, and my ideologies go over there. It was such an interesting session, Satvik. I mean, we got to learn so much. Next session, we're gonna be talking about how to do your own self custody. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week again. Thank you so much, Satvik, today for your time. We thoroughly enjoyed this session today. And everyone else, please stay tuned. Make sure to follow us on our social media channels to get latest updates on our next session. We'll see you again next week. Till then, bye bye.
Thank you.